All right, I have high blood pressure, and I've been taking care of that for the last, let's say, 2 years. Now in the last 6 months, it's actually been really normal. When I say really normal, I'm saying 115/75 on average. So here's the thing. So I want to get off high blood pressure medicine. And my doctor is telling me recently that they're afraid to take me off or lower my dosage because they think my blood pressure is going to get higher. Now, honestly, me being 38 years old, I still consider myself being young. Honestly, at the end of the day, I don't want to be taking multiple pills a day. It's kind of disheartening knowing that my doctors don't think that I'm able to, at one point in my life, get off this high blood pressure medicine and cholesterol medicine. Now, I think with lifestyle changes, which I have done in the last 6 months, I think if I keep at it, I think I should be able to lower the dosage of my high blood pressure medication or get off of it in its entirety. Now, I am actually way more motivated than I was before I even went to get a checkup. Now, I went and got a checkup a couple days ago, and that's when I found out that my blood pressure is great. Even though, you know, we talked about my blood work, my LDL is still a little high. It's around 114. It went from 107 to 114, and my HDL is good, and my triglycerides is great. But it's just my LDL is obviously a little elevated, but my total cholesterol is at like 186 or something like that. So overall, everything is pretty decent other than my LDL. My sugar levels are obviously, my blood sugar is good. I don't have to worry about that. So I'm thinking if I keep up what I'm doing right now, I think in the next 6 months, I should be able to get off high blood pressure medication. Now, so my doctor told me, like, even if they lowered it, they're still a little worried about maybe it could increase. But in my opinion, I feel like if I just continue to live a healthy lifestyle that's manageable, and maybe every once in a while do things in moderation that may or may not be as good for me. For example, maybe alcohol or some sugar, high carb meals or whatever it may be, then just doing it in moderation shouldn't really honestly have a huge impact on my blood pressure. Now, I get it. Sodium is also very important, and I also think potassium, magnesium, and all these other nutrients are important as well. It balances out the sodium, and of course, we don't want a lot of sodium in our diet as well. But sodium is somewhat beneficial. You still need sodium in your everyday life. So, I'm thinking with my lifestyle now, I feel like I should be able to, in 6 months, at least go back and say, hey, look, I want to be on some lower medication to the point where I want to get off of it. So the reason why I'm doing this video is because I want to at least express how I've been kind of dealing with my high blood pressure and how I've been kind of taking control over managing my high blood pressure. Now, I get it. I am on blood pressure medication. But at the end of the day, too, I feel like the things that I'm doing, which I'm about to share with you, is also contributing to lowering my blood pressure. Now, I'm getting a lot of exercise. I'm doing some cardio workouts. I'm doing high-intensity interval training workouts. And I've been doing that for the last few years, actually. Ever since COVID, I've been doing high-intensity interval trainings, which I honestly think has been helping with my blood pressure. And also, I've been eating more greens and more fruits. Now, I know spinach, kale, vegetables like that have a little bit of potassium and magnesium, and I think that also helps with your blood pressure, especially if you are concerned that you're eating a lot of foods with a lot of sodium in them, that the potassium, I feel like, can kind of help balance the sodium and potassium balance to keep your blood pressure in check. Also, I feel like I'm trying to get a little bit of sleep. I am a victim of not getting enough sleep, so I'm trying to work on that. Also, I'm trying to work on my stress. So with the combination of getting enough sleep, going out for workouts like cardio, running, whatever, will help with your blood pressure, and it will help you sleep better at night. Plus, when you work out, your cholesterol level gets better as well. Now, I am trying to lower my carbs a little bit, but not keto low, but just low enough where I feel like I can burn off a little bit of body fat, because I'm not really storing a lot of like sugar and a lot of carbs in my body that's gonna obviously eventually turn into fat. 'Cause the goal is to burn fat, not store it. Like, I'm not trying to, like, you know, eat a bunch of rice and all these, you know, grains and stuff like that. Even though I will throw in some bread here and there, but like I said, moderation. And then, you know, I'll incorporate like healthier fats, you know. Instead of doing vegetable oils and stuff, I'll do maybe like a avocado oil or a olive oil. And instead of eating a bunch of rice, maybe I'll do something like, you know, some spinach, maybe some kale, some Brussels sprouts, or something like that, or some broccoli or cauliflower or whatever it may be. Something that I feel like my body can get the nutrients of, you know. And then with like no added sugar, I'm trying to do my best. Haven't been doing that great lately, but I am trying to work on not eating too much sugary foods, because sugary foods is just not that good for you, you know. So I'm trying to check the labels, because you know what, it's so hard not to eat sugar. And it's just so crazy how much sugar you can end up eating in one day. So I'm trying to keep my sugar intake low. Like, I'll eat my fruits and stuff like that, but anything added, you know, that you might get from, you know, starchy foods and stuff like that, or even like sugary drinks and stuff, you know. So I'm trying to do better about it, you know, not adding any sugar or cream in my coffee and stuff like that. And speaking of coffee, I'm trying to be a little minimum with my caffeine. You know, I'm drinking a little bit more teas, because that's obviously a little bit lower in caffeine than, you know, a black coffee is. So I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful about how much caffeine I'm taking, because I feel like that, because I know my body a little bit, I know that I am a little sensitive to caffeine. So I try to monitor that throughout the day as well. And I try to cut myself off, especially if I'm drinking coffee that day. I like to cut myself off at a certain time, so I make sure that it's not going to keep me up at night. And with the combination of no added sugar, I find myself being ready to go to bed at a decent hour too, because I'm not getting any crazy crashes or any spikes in my energy level. I feel like my energy has been a little more consistent. And I notice when I do eat a lot of sugar or foods that's high in carb, I do notice that I will be a little sluggish the next day, or I'll crash midday if it's like some high sugary foods. Like, you know, when during Thanksgiving I was eating like cake and cookies and stuff like that, and I've noticed how my energy was throughout the day, which was crazy. So I mean, like I said, I'm just trying to do things in moderation, getting the potassium, the magnesium in there. You know, I might have a sweet potato here and there. I know starches also might kind of turn into sugar here and there, but hey, I love me a baked potato. I think I can eat a baked potato here and there, and it ain't gonna kill me, you know what I mean? So just trying to lay off some of the very high salty foods, high sugary foods, try not to stress too much. I'm trying to get some rest. And I think at the end of the day, I think all that stuff, especially with exercise, will at least keep the blood pressure at a normal rate, you know, because again, I've been ranging 115/75, and when I was at the doctor, I think it was like, actually it was 118/74, which was, I think, again, really good. And I told my doctor, like, hey, when I'm home and I'm checking my blood pressure, it's always usually good. Sometimes it'll even get as low as like 109/70, which sometimes I feel like could be a little too low. Especially on the days when I'm really eating clean and I'm like exercising, I'm not stressing too much. I notice my blood pressure will be pretty lower than what my average is. And I just noticed just my energy level, my mood, everything is just so much different when you just make small little adjustments, whether it's you're not drinking alcohol as much. And then I think with the combination of exercise, trying not to stress too much, and on top of that, getting a little bit of sleep while eating healthy, I feel like my blood pressure has been benefiting from that in a great deal. And then again, I'm giving myself 6 more months, and I really want to convince my doctors that, hey, like, I don't want to live where I have to take 2 pills for blood pressure and then plus a cholesterol pill, a statin pill for the rest of my life, at least in the rest of my 30s and 40s. I feel like, you know, if I need to be on a statin or some high blood pressure pills or whatever, in my 50s or in my 60s, sure, that's great. But right now in my 30s, I feel like I still have some time to make some lifestyle changes where I don't really necessarily need some medication. So this right now, I'm telling you right now, I'm very motivated and I am determined to get off these medications. And we're starting right now. Like I said, in the last 6-7 months, I've been on point. I've been doing my thing. I've been eating healthy. I've been exercising. I've been taking care of my body, both mentally and physically. And these next 6 months, when I go do my next checkup, I want to prove to my doctors and them that, hey, I'm not going to be on these medications for long, and I'm going to make some changes, and I'm making them changes now. And if you have high blood pressure too, I'm telling you, just changing up your lifestyle a little bit, just those little things. It's not easy, but I mean, just try not to stress too much and try to get some sleep and just eat better, you know, and take that sugar stuff out of your life, and you know, just don't drink as much, don't smoke, you know, just take care of your body, because this is the only body we got, and we got to take care of it. And high blood pressure is one of those silent killers. It runs in the family. My stepdad had a stroke, and it was probably because of hypertension, and my mom has hypertension. So everybody in my family is on some high blood pressure medication. And again, like I said, I'm young and I want to get off of it. So let's get this journey going. We're going to do better with our lives. And if you need anything, if you need some support, just sit there in the comment section. We're going to be here to support each other. So let's do it, y'all. Let's get off these medications. Right now, today we start. All right? Till next time, I see you when I see you. Peace!